China angry, Philippines opens new airstrip to bring in U.S. aircraft to near South China Sea island. The Philippines has unveiled plans to spend £20 million on building more structures on a disputed island in the South China Sea in a move that is bound to raise hackles in Beijing. Top defense officials of the Philippines inaugurated Tuesday a cemented pier that would let its ships dock on PAG ASA Island, whose waters were swarmed by over 100 Chinese boats last year. The pier, also known as a beaching ramp, is the first major upgrade of the Philippines in the 9 features it occupies in the West Philippine Sea, parts of which are also claimed by Beijing. The West Philippine Sea is the country's exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea. PAG ASA Island hosts Calayan Town, a Palawan municipality that is home to a military outpost and a civilian community. It has a school, military barracks, and a runway, among other infrastructure. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, Armed Forces Chief of Staff Feliman Santos Jr., Navy Flag Officer in Command Vice Admiral Giovanni Bacordo, Air Force Chief Lieutenant General Alan Paredes, Army Chief Lieutenant General Gilbert Gapay, and newly installed AFP Western Command Chief Lieutenant General Erickson Gloria inaugurated the structure. This is the first time that they all visited the island at the same time. During the blessing and ribbon-cutting ceremony, the ABS-CBN news team spotted several Chinese vessels around the island, including a white Coast Guard vessel, 2 blue and white badges similar to those circling Scarborough Shoal, and several smaller fishing boats. These were visible in the background of the BRP Ivadan, the first Philippine Navy vessel to dock on the beaching ramp. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said the structure would pave the way for more visits by Philippine officials and would make it easier to bring in materials for the repair and construction of the island's airstrip. Lorenzana said he did not mind the presence of the Chinese militia as long as Filipinos were not hurt or harassed. Calayan Mayor Roberto Del Mundo said the beaching ramp could also let the island invite more visitors and increase their commercial fishing capability. Del Mundo said he was bothered by the presence of the Chinese militia and Coast Guard, whose ships follow Philippine boats if they get too close. He said the military barred residents from going to 2 of their 3 sandbars due to the constant presence of Chinese vessels there. Upon landing on the island, the news team received roaming notifications saying, "Welcome to China." The Philippines and China have seen improved ties under President Rodrigo Duterte, who set aside a United Nations-backed tribunal's 2016 ruling that invalidated Beijing's sweeping claims in the South China Sea. Some 140 Chinese ships that surrounded PAG ASA Island last year left after Manila lodged a diplomatic protest over their presence. The opening of the new airfield, the defense minister described it as a historic milestone in Philippine efforts to take possession of its islets in the West Philippine Sea. The plan comes amid renewed tensions between the U.S. and China in the South China Sea. The Philippines has recently condemned China's move to form 2 new districts to administer islands in the disputed waters, and also chose to temporarily keep a U.S. military pact, citing tensions between superpowers. Other claimant states in the West Philippine Sea, especially China, have far outdone the Philippines in building structures and establishing their presence in the area. China has turned 7 reefs also claimed by the Philippines into artificial islands, and militarized them. The beaching ramp is the first of 4 phases of a project to build a basing support system for the armed forces of the Philippines on the island. All the succeeding phases depend on the beaching ramp for hauling in supplies and equipment. Now, the second phase of repairing the eroded, unpaved runway on the island can begin. Phase 3 will be the paving of the runway and its apron, and Phase 4 will involve other new facilities for the Philippines Air Force. Mr. Lorenzano said, "Because the beaching ramp is now operational, we can go full blast already." When asked of the plans for construction on PAG ASA Island would rock the boat with China, Mr. Lorenzana said, "Not really, because we've been here a long time. I kept emphasizing to the previous ambassador of China that we have been here since, in fact, the late 1960s. But he acknowledged Manila hoped to establish a more significant presence in the West Philippine Sea, at least on PAG ASA Island itself.
Provide casts, soften the target on the beach.
Okay. Best place to Hey guys, I'm gonna take a taxi. Yeah.